timelessness of life. Biology and its related health is understood only when we eliminate the fabricated theory that there is a beginning and an end. Now let's stop there and get you to get your arms around this. We, because we're so insecure, lost, confused, wandering, who are we, why are we here, what should I be, how is it going to be, questions, we always want categorically everything in nice, neat boxes. We want an A, we want a Z. We want a beginning, we want an end. And this has limited us not only as humans, but certainly in the entirety of the field of science, physics, biology, etc. Because the definitive prevents us from the expansiveness of truth. Do you follow that? Once you think you know something, you stop searching. And if you think there's a beginning and an end, well, why look before the beginning and why look after the end? So this is the problem we have today. We're looking beyond that because life in truth didn't start, will not end, it's a continuum. As Shakespeare said it so well, it's a moving feast. It constantly moves. And we can't get our arms around it, but why have to do that? Why don't we rest in the arms of God rather than try to grab it and control it? The sun's rays, the source of life on earth. We're getting plenty of it in this lovely room today. All life is generated by light that manifests frequencies. These frequencies are captured and converted into energy. Now, let's stop there and go step by step so you get this. There are two words here that we use that nobody in the science community other than a handful of quantum biologists even discuss. Before we get to one that they do discuss. What are those two words? Number one, light. All life does come from light. You come from light. You are light. Do you follow me? Now you think of yourself as a solid mass. You'd rather be, but you're not. You are actually light particles. Then we go to the second, frequencies. And what they do is they actually create frequencies that move so rapidly you can't see it. How many of you have ever seen a hummingbird fly? Yeah. You're literally seeing the wings without seeing the wings. What we know is these frequencies move from the sun, the energy from the sun that gives us all life, including your body, 5 million times faster than hummingbirds' wings. So it's invisible, but it's really not. It's moving structure without it being, in our view, our privilege. These frequencies are captured and converted into energy. That's where we start. So we precluded the most important foundation for science and biology. Because we don't talk about light, we don't talk about frequencies. We start with energy. Now, what is energy? How energy came here is the very first life form on this planet that came from a marriage between nitrogen. Nitrogen makes things what? Grow. Grow. Nitrogen means growth. Okay. The word vitamin, by the way, amine, comes from nitrogen, meaning growth. And the fellow who gave us the name vitamin back, Casimir Funk, a Polish gentleman who studied and worked in London, literally said vita, meaning what? Life. Amine, nitrogen, growth. Well, nitrogen makes things grow. Nitrogen, by the way, married what we call today vitamin C, and it created these single-cell life forms. And these single-cell life forms were the very first life on this planet. They are today called blue-green algae. This morning when I got up, I took 5 types of algae. Not a bad idea for those of you who want to be healthy and fight the aging process, etc., successfully. Get the highest level of protein. No question, that's what you should be eating. Also the best source of essential fatty acids to energize and give jet fuel to the cells as well as the brain. By the way, the brain has 85% of all the cells in the body. How many of you know that? You only have 15% of the cells from here down to the feet. 85% of the cells in your body are here. You have 100 trillion cells, 85 trillion are in the brain. If you want questions on that, we'll answer later. Single-cell life forms in the green plants they spawn possess receptor-like chargeable batteries that convert this energy into matter. Now protein. So we start with energy, and all energy is based in our surface way of thinking on protein. Do you follow? Everything is based on protein. The structure needs protein. So when I look at a cell, by the way, and the way I was taught, and the way we still have to explain it today to our colleagues, I'm looking at every one of those 100 trillion cells having a protein fibrin, a web. It's a very sophisticated, geometrically, beautifully woven together shape called a fibrin protein web. That's what holds the cells together. But is that really what the cell is? And the answer is no. That's a carrier of electric, just like your body, as we know through history and millennia, is a carrier of the SOUL. So, follow that? Our bodies literally are carrying the electromagnetic person who you really are. And the body is only a vehicle for that. Not unlike the cell, being the protein, the vehicle for the electromagnetic energy that all comes from what again? Light and frequencies. You see how simple it is to understand this stuff? It's so simple. Nobody gets it though. The evolution of matter, there it comes. Look at those little single cell life forms literally became Sally and Harry up there. Attractive Harry and attractive Sally. Now, if you look at them, you say, oh, they're healthy looking young people, and there they are hiking up, you know, in the mountains, the Cascade Mountains of Oregon or someplace. But what you're really seeing there is electromagnetic frequency moving so rapidly you can't even imagine. How many times faster than the wings of a hummingbird? 5 million times faster. Now, matter has evolved into endless life forms, including humans. Life forms are perpetually connected to and contain these frequencies. You can't separate yourself. Appearance and perception. So here's where our eyes and our minds and our history and our memory and our education, our indoctrination literally fools us. Appearance and perception as well as limited imagination. If you wanted to ask me if I had one wish from God, what I would take away, limited imagination. That's our biggest curse right there. That prevents you and I and everyone else from doing what we really should do. Has propelled humanity to a deep sense of insecurity. So, if you are hiding in the closet and you hear the boogeyman outside, you're going to stay in the closet. You're not going to come out and say, hey, is there really a boogeyman? And be brave and stand up and scare the boogeyman away. Hovering in the closet. And all of us have boogeymans and all of us have closets. Even those of us who have expansive minds and constantly work on being open are fractionally open to compare to what we should be. Fractionally open to what we should be. The most liberated people are just drops into liberation. They're not like this. For instance, we've seen this in history before. We've seen wonderful people like the Wright brothers. I always love the Wright brothers. Because the Wright brothers, can you imagine everyone they talk to? First, they're bicycle guys. They're not scientists. They're not educated. And they're in Ohio. They're not in California or New York City. And they basically say, hey, we're going to go down to North Carolina. We're going to fly. So I can imagine that conversation. Because people have talked to me like this. You can't heal cancer, they say. You can't tell me that you're doing things medicine can't do. And so I know what it's like. And so basically, they're constantly down at the Wright brothers saying, here, we're going to show you pictures of John, who just tried to jump off a mountain. He died. And here's one of Harry. Here's one of Sam. And for a history, every time somebody flew, they either died or had serious injuries. So what do you think you're going to fly for? They said, okay. Went down to the sand dunes in North Carolina, and they flew. And what that did for humanity, you can't even imagine. Because you and I grew up assuming that that was quite normal. I wouldn't be here today, by the way, speaking to you. Once we left Europe, we didn't go back to our families again. That was so unlikely you'd ever see your family again. Now, from here it's what, 10, 12 hours? From the East Coast it's 7, 8 hours? You see what happened? Just because they had the ability to take away the limitation of their imagination. And greater things in flying has come from that. This has led to us to a disconnect from the totality of endless life. Now, I don't want to sound like Deepak Chopra here. What is the totality of endless life? Anyone have any concept of what that is? It's everything. It's It's everything we see, understand, know, and everything we don't see, understand, and know. It's, again, the moving, what? Feast. It's the totality of everything, of endlessness. No beginning, no end. And rather than feel insecure about that, you should say, wow, that's fantastic. I'm part of this gigantic thing. It doesn't ever have to stop. Control has grown from this, as well as a need to categorize, compartmentalize, and isolate ourselves from the balanced rhythm which gives rise to all life. Now, the picture I'd like to give you here, and the audio I'd like to give you, is I always see the universe in a similar way to a Mozart concerto. How many of you know what Mozart sounds like? He was hit. I mean, Mozart, because he was a maniac, you know, he had no limits. He was just brilliant. I mean, if man survives, we will be listening to Mozart 1,000,000 years from now, no doubt. And why we will is because, and why Mozart resonates with us, he worked on the vibration, the frequency, and the rhythm of the universe. Because if you listen to his music, it works totally well on heartbeat. Other people in more contemporary times, the Beatles. Why the Beatles will be listened to, why major Philharmonic concerts will be given with Beatles music forever, is they went on the heartbeat. And so if you listen to the music of the great throughout history, or the great artists, there's flow with the great artists. They don't have beginning and ends. So it takes the artists, the avant-garde, the limitless type of people to get little touches of that. Not that they have the totality of that, but touches of it. And so you want your life to be like the heartbeat, to be like the rhythm